Hello there. This really is a quick card. I commented on someone's post the other day when they were struggling and said all their cards took too long. Well, I've had one of those days today where everything took too long, and so in the end I thought, do you know what? I'm going to challenge myself to make a quick one. So I got out my ink pads, splodged the colour onto my craft mat, just randomly. And then I spritzed the inks with water. Quite generous spritz. I then took my acrylic block and just smooshed it, just to mix the colours slightly. I then, with my multifarious card, dabbed it all over the inks, pressing over the surface and picking it up and moving it so that I managed to get a coverage over most of the card. Gave it a quick dab and then went in again. This is quite a good technique. I like it anyway. As you can see here, I'm lifting a bit of the colour up with a tissue, and then as you can see there's a big splodge or a big area that's not got any ink on, so I'm going to place the acrylic block on and just use that colour off of there. Well, then give it a quick blast with the heat gun, and then came back with my stencil. This is my favourite way of using the stencils. Just rub a little bit of colour over the surface. I just focused on one corner here, picturing where I was going to put the stamp afterwards. Then spritzed where the ink was on the stencil, flipped it over and pressed it over in the other corner, giving it a quick dab so that the colour could transfer onto the card. I like the almost bleaching effect this gives. And went back in the first corner just to add a little bit more. Quick dab with the tissue. I think I gave it another blast with the heat gun actually. Then I used Layla, one of the new stamps. Isn't she gorgeous? I went over with the Versafine Claire in the Nocturne, making sure I didn't miss any areas on the block. And pressed her firmly onto my card. At this point I'd really recommend having some extra layers of paper underneath. I forgot here, and it just meant I was a little bit worried that it might not all come out because of the unsurface of my worktop underneath. Luckily, it's okay. Right, I'm then going to use another of the new stamps. Magic Surrounds Us. It's a beautiful verse. Trace is so clever. Don't know how she comes up with these ideas, but it's a really lovely verse. I'm going to use this with Mermaid, my favourite colour of the Elements ink pads. Just dab it on. Take off the first stamping. And stamp it around the focal area. There we go. Actually, I might do a first generation because I think it would look nice, and go with the deeper colour of the stenciled area. Beautiful. That's that done. Now I'm going to use the blades of my scissors and distress around the card. I used to do this a lot, but not for a long time. Just roughing up the edges. It just breaks the fibres up and it'll allow it to take the ink for the next step. Don't matter if it looks a little bit raggedy. That all adds to the end effect. I then added a little bit of each of the colours, Mermaid, Sundance and Merlot, onto my mat. Gave it a little spritz. And then I think this might look nice with a little bit of mica mineral powder added. I'm going to use the gold. Just gives a lovely shimmer. You don't need very much. A little goes a long way. There you go. Then gave it a little mix. And then dragged the edges of the card through the ink. It just means that the roughed up edges soak up the colour. It looks like it could all go wrong at this point, but bear with me. It'll be alright in the end. There you go. You can see how the colour is being sucked up by the edge of the card. Just going to paint the wings with a little bit of the Merlot. There's still a little bit of the mica mineral on my brush, so it's going to make her wings all nice and shimmery. Almost done now. I'm just going to go in with my quickie glue pen and some of these lovely eco glitter in the Turkish Delight. Somehow I missed myself filming this bit, but there you are. I've matted and layered it onto a white card. Hope you like it.